All right, so I'm super happy to have Daniel on my channel. This is actually the first time I'm bringing someone on to my channel. I'm interviewing someone, so I'm super excited. Daniel's been crushing it in the social media digital marketing agency game. We've been in contact for a while now, and I think I don't know what are your numbers this month right now.
Yeah, so I actually closed four. One of them hasn't paid, but if they pay on Monday, we'll be at 11,000 for the month. And this is really just the first month that I've even really tried going all in on it.
That's crazy, man. And I've been telling you like how happy I've been for you. Because I get so excited, super stoked. I know how it was like when I hit my first 10K a month, and it was amazing. I'm like, dude, I didn't even think it was possible until I actually did it. So how are you feeling right now with your 10K? Obviously, I know you're excited, but I don't know. Is there anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, because you're not the only person. I'm actually in your Facebook group too for your agency, and there's a few people in there who have personally messaged me, and they just keep, asking me for, just tips and stuff like that. And they're also excited. But to me, it's like, I don't have the same feeling. It's very weird. It's almost like, I've had it this whole month without even knowing. So for some reason, I'm not like, oh my God, this is insane, except for like the first one. Cause when I closed the first one this month, I was on like a high for like the whole day. And it was just super surreal. And that was like the smallest one of the month. It was only 1,500, but the feeling I had was like insane. And I just haven't felt it since then. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
And it's probably because you're just on to the next one. You're just like, all right, got that out of the way. How do I grow to even more, right?
Yeah.
So tell me, I want to start from the beginning here. I know we jumped into, you doing your numbers and things like that. How did you get into digital marketing? What made you want to get into digital marketing? What were you doing before you got into this space pretty much?
Well, to be honest, before I was in digital marketing, I was doing sales. So I was in high school. I was with Vector Marketing, Cutco. I don't know if you've heard of them. It's basically just knives.
I've heard of them.
Yeah, so it's cutlery, and I was doing like network marketing, just kind of going and talking to people selling knives. And after that, I was doing door-to-door sales. I did car sales for a short amount of time while I was 19. And after that, I woke up one morning as a Saturday morning, and I saw a Tai Lopez commercial, and that just shows.
That's crazy.
It was the Here in My Garage one, so that just shows how long ago that was. But after that, I was like, that's kind of cool. So I bought his course. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because when I bought the course, I did it 3 times. I went through the entire 67 steps.
Oh, wow.
And after the 3rd time, I tweeted at him back when I had Twitter. I was like, hey, Ty, just did it for the 3rd time. It's so awesome. And at the time I was actually doing like day trading stuff, like very small scale, like day trading. Yeah. And so the first link on my Twitter bio was tap here if you want to learn how to make money trading stocks. So when he saw that tweet, he retweeted me, and right away 10 people signed up for my class. And it was like, at the time it was like $25. So I was like, what the, and I just kind of understood the power of digital marketing and how, you can get sales online. And so that's where I got interested in it.
That's crazy because you started so young with like just going into sales. That's something I didn't have. When I was 18, 19, I was fresh in college. So I had no sales experience, no business experience going for my, trying to get my college degree and stuff like that. So I think that's why you have such a head start, is because you have experience in sales. And for someone like me, I built up my whole agency without sales and things like that. So it's really cool that, you started early. And I think one of the first, you ask anybody at a high level, what should my first job be? They'll always tell you, hey, go into sales, because that's like the number 1 skill that you could possibly have for anything pretty much. And so you mentioned Tai Lopez. He introduced you to this, you said was SMA, or was it his 67-step program? Because I was in both, but which one did you go into?
I took both, but I started with 67 steps. And it wasn't until then that I was like, wait, you can make money using social media. And then that's when I started using social media to get students for like my trading course. Like I said, it's very small scale. I only had like 12 students at the most paying me like $50. So it's very small, but I fell in love with it at that point.
Yeah. And you know what? That's exactly how I got started with digital marketing. I didn't know what digital marketing was. I didn't know anything about this whole social media marketing management stuff until my best friend's little brother was like, hey man, I just bought this course for $9.97. It's about, you can make some money. And I think at the time I was fresh out of college, trying to figure out ways to make money as well. I didn't want to go the doctoral route anymore. So I went through the course, and that's how I really got introduced into the whole SMA world. I was like, wow, there's like people out there my age or even younger than me killing it, making money. I'm like, all right, this is what I'm just going to try to stick with. And, it worked out. So, so you get started in this whole social media marketing stuff. Like, where did you start? What was like your experience like when you first started your agency? Like, was it a struggle? Did you come out, just landing new clients? Like, how was the beginning experience for you?
Yeah. So to preface that, after I was doing all the sales stuff, I was like, well, why don't I just get a job in marketing? So I went on ZipRecruiter and I found a job to be a marketing assistant, which ended up being a completely different job for like 2 years, where I was working like 12 hours a day for 6 days a week for 2 years straight, by the way.
Oh, what the heck? That's crazy, man.
I know. And I was like doing stuff like managing a phone system. I was like doing voicemail drops, and just kind of managing like call routing. So I guess, like I said, it wasn't really marketing per se, but I got a lot of experience working with people and working on like business systems for that. And so it's been a year since I actually left that job. Okay. And it was probably the hardest year ever. So I left last August. August 6th was the day I left. Okay. And since then, I was kind of just like doing stuff online, like web design, like SEO, PPC. I was going to networking events, trying to find clients that way. And it worked, but I wasn't able to really scale that, because when I was going to networking events, I'd find like one client a month. Right. Which again, it's good, but you can't really scale that. And so I was broke for a really long time. And actually, I've been living here for a year with my girlfriend. And there was actually a point where she was coming up to me one night and she's like, hey, what are we going to eat for dinner? And I was like, I have no idea, because I don't have any money.
Yeah, that's tough,
so
man.
It was pretty tough. But in January, I started really trying to like do sales, get clients at a higher scale. And something happened in my family. So I had like family stuff that I had to deal with. So like basically all of this year, I was just doing like web design from home until this month, until October, when I finally started talking to you. You helped me like build my VSL. And by you helping me, I mean, I just ripped your VSL by looking at it like completely.
I've looked at it, man. I've looked at it.
Yeah. I literally just stole it right away. And I was just doing LinkedIn outreach, and I got one client in 1 week. And then I started, and this is all in this month, by the way. So I got one client in 1 week using LinkedIn. Then I found Maurice on YouTube, Maurice Gear. And he was talking about doing cold calls and stuff like that. It's been 2 weeks since I've started doing cold calls, and I landed 3 more in the same month.
Wow. I mean, dude, I did not know what the power of cold calling was like until you told me. Like I said, I've built up my agency with 0 cold calls. And you know what? I've done cold calling before, and I actually started when I first started my agency. I was like, everyone was like, "Hey, you got a cold call, right?" That's what everyone was saying in the Facebook groups. So I was like, "All right, well, if I want to start my digital marketing agency and not have to work my 9 to 5, then I'm just gonna do this cold calling stuff." So I did it, and it's very, for me. See, like with you had sales experience. You had experience with talking to people and stuff like that. Like I'm brand new, like fresh. And so I'm calling up these businesses, and they're like telling me to F off, and it was really demoralizing for me, man. Like after one phone call of like a no, I would be like, all right, dude, I'm done. You know what I mean? So luckily though, I decided to make one more cold call for some reason. I went to the gym. I see this chiropractor booth set up there. And I'm like, all right, you know what? They're probably looking for marketing. So I took down their name, their number, whatever. And then I cold called that business. I believe it was later that day or the next day or whatever. And the doctor happened to pick up. And I was like, hey, I remember just like already knew that he was going to say no. I already given up before like I even pitched him anything. I was like, hey, I'm a new digital marketer trying to build my portfolio. I was wondering if I could just like do like some type of volunteer for you for like a week or two. And like, I was just like I already knew he was going to say no, but he was like, you know what, Jordan, I've been looking for someone just like you. Yeah, let me schedule you something on my calendar. Let me get my assistant to call you back. And then that's how I got started with my first client with the chiropractor. And that's how I guess that kept me motivated somewhat to continue a little bit more and things like that. But anyways, yeah, from there, I stopped cold calling. I haven't cold called since then. I've done everything else but cold call. But since hearing about you, I'm actually, you're actually been helping me implement cold calling systems into my agency, and I'm in the process of all that right now. So we'll see how it goes. I hope it works out for me as well as it worked out for you. But as far as for you, like, what do you think was like the game changer? Because I know a lot of people, trying to get new clients is the hardest thing, right? Like, why has it worked so well for you? You've been able to pretty much build up your entire agency this month.
Yeah, well, I've had this question already just from some of the people in your group. And honestly, I've been thinking about it myself, because once you hit 10,000, you realize how little it is. Like,
yeah,
it's so true. Like when literally 30 days ago, I could never even think about making $10,000 a month. That was like so far away. But now that I've hit it, it's like, it's 3 clients.
Yeah.
That is so easy to do, especially for cold calling. And just to touch back on what you were saying earlier, that's all it takes. You have to get through 10 no's to get to that one guy who's like, I've been looking for you this whole time.
Yeah.
So once you finally hit it, you're like, wow, like it's so easy. Like you get the confidence to do it again and again and again. And I can easily tell, like, just by doing it, like I said, for this month, it's like really the first month that I've really tried to start, and I've already hit 10K, and I realized how easy it really is to do. So why did it blow up? Like, what was the game changer? I guess it was just focusing on that only, because I still have web design clients that like need me to do work this month, but I don't even want to deal with it anymore because this is way more profitable. So
yeah,
it's really just about, and I hate to use this, but law of attraction is something that I really I really implemented that just on a personal level for myself.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, oh, law of attraction doesn't work, blah, blah, blah. But if you really think about it, law of attraction is just focusing on something, like obsessing over it, thinking about it all the time, constantly putting action into it, and then it works. And as cheesy and as guru as that sounds, that's just what it is. And that's all it took for me.
Yeah, man. And I totally agree with you on that. I think the law of attraction isn't like the universe giving you something. It's that you're constantly thinking about it, and those thoughts turns into action.
Exactly.
And that helps you into achieving whatever it is that you want to get. It's not the universe giving it to you. It's that you constantly thinking about it and then going out and doing it and making it happen. So I totally agree with you on that. And I think I figured that out like a while back. I was like, okay, that's what the law of attraction is, because I'm so obsessed with it and just trying to figure out how to do whatever I can do to get whatever I want. But what do you think? You said that cold calling is your your number one go-to right now to get clients, correct?
Yes.
What is like your tip for like people like myself and for many other people that doesn't have sales skills? We didn't get started as early as you, whatever. We don't have business background. I'm nervous as heck when I'm on the call. Like I don't even take my sales calls today. So like, what is your tip for just getting better at being on the phone, cold calling, or being more comfortable, whatever it is? What is your tip for that?
My tip for you is to role play. And I also have another thing, which I'm going to get to. So the first thing is role playing. For example, I've been using your group a lot, so I'm just going to bring this up again. But a guy in the group who's like, man, I'm trying to get my first client. What should I do? I'm like, you should cold call. And he's like, well, I suck at cold calling. What should I do? And I'm like, here, schedule a time with me. So we did 30 minutes of what we call the bull ring. So when I was doing door-to-door sales, I was actually selling CenturyLink. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if anyone's ever knocked on your door, but I never opened. So you deal with a lot of rejection. So what the bullpen is, it's one person and another person, and all you're giving them is just early objections. So they're just reading the script. Hey, my name's Dan. You just had a quick question for you. Hey, man, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. I don't care. I don't have time. I don't really want that. I'm good with what I have. So role playing is really good because you can simulate a real call. And you can make it as dirty, as raunchy, as mean as you want it. And I recommend that. I recommend you take 50 calls and all of them like cuss you out, because only reason why, you get used to it. Like, for example, I've probably this month worked like 40 hours on my agency. And that's why I say like, it really doesn't take a lot to make 10K, because this month in total, I've probably spent 40 hours actually, reaching out to people on LinkedIn and cold calling. It doesn't take a lot, but so role playing is really good, and just doing the call and getting cursed out to the max so that you just get used to it. Because working with my last job, the owner that I worked with was he's very vulgar. So I used to get beat up verbally all the time. So I've really just built up a muscle, and also doing door-to-door sales. Like I've literally had people open the door and curse me out and tell me they're going to call the cops on me, blah, 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 just to get me to go away. So it's just something that you have to do. It's like going to the gym. It's like, if I can't pick up a 20-pound dumbbell, then do 10 until you can get to 20. So it's about using that muscle to just get over it. Don't be so attached to the complaints. Don't get so attached to the objections. Just move on. You're only looking for the people looking for you. So when it comes to cold calling, the number one way to get used to being on the phone and getting cursed out is to put yourself in this situation, whether that's by role playing or just doing it.
Yeah, totally agree with you, man. And that's something I've never done before. But I totally agree with you. If you just got to put yourself through hell, and then that way you build some tough skin. Once you go out to the field, I think you're going to be all used to it and, ready to go. So like, what are you right now? You have your clients and stuff like that. Like what is the structure of your agency right now? Like, how are you running it? How do you plan? And then how do you plan on growing it from here?
So that is a great question, because I've had probably 3 different structures in my agency just this month. The reason why I say it is because at first I was doing only LinkedIn outreach. So I just have a bot that's just constantly reaching out to people and sending them, messages. And once I got that first client, I found somebody to fulfill. So for example, anyone watching this, last month or 2 months ago, I was working with an attorney, and I reached out to Jordan because I saw his VSL and I noticed that he specializes in personal injury. So I reached out to you to fulfill. So my job was to just sell and manage clients while I have someone to fulfill. But now that I started doing cold calls, I need more fulfillment. So I've been reaching out to mortgage loan officers. And when I closed the first one, I reached out to someone who specializes in mortgage and have them fulfill. And then I'll just sell and manage clients. But the person who also fulfills my marketing can also fulfill my appointment setting. So I don't even have to do cold calls at this point. So now I have people that are setting appointments for me and fulfilling. So all I have to do is just sell. So that's kind of where I'm at in my agency right now. So that's the way it's structured. I have someone setting appointments, and then I have someone fulfilling the actual marketing work. And where I see myself going from here is getting a client so that I can just take a step back and work on the business instead of in the business. And that's where I'm at.
And I think, that's where a lot of people kind of struggle with, is when they start an agency, they feel like they have to be an expert at something. They got to know it all. They got to know this, do that. But really, you focus on your strengths and then you delegate your weaknesses. And in your case, your strength was, making your cold calls, getting clients and things like that. And you didn't know how to fulfill those results. So you reached out to people that did to do that for you, take care of that for you. And then you still getting paid as a middleman. And I'm assuming are you going to be, delegating your cold calls eventually? Are you going to learn how to deliver the service yourself? What do you plan on doing with that?
As far as doing the fulfillment myself, probably not. I mean, I'm already at a point where someone's doing it for me, and if they can do a great job, why would I get rid of them? I would not want to get rid of someone that is doing a great job already. And that just is really a business lesson. It's not really an SMMA thing. It's just business in general. Like you did a great job getting me personal injury calls. So I would never try to do it myself or find someone that can, someone else to do it, because you're already doing a great job. Don't fix something that isn't broken. So as far as learning it myself, probably not. I'm really just working on facilitating the systems that I have. So facilitating appointment setting, facilitating closing, and then facilitating fulfillment. And so that's where I want to be in the business, right? Just working on the system as opposed to being in the business and, just kind of finessing whatever, the day brings. So I feel like it's a much easier way to scale your business when you have people who can do the work and do a great job. Yeah.
And I know you had so much success this month and everything's going really well for you, but I want to know about all the things that you tried before. I think you said from August to January, you were trying to get your agency off the ground. I want to hear about the struggle. What were you doing that didn't work?
Yeah. So what I did that didn't work, network marketing did not work. For scaling, you can get clients. And a matter of fact, if anyone's watching this and they want to get a client like this week, I recommend you go on Google and you find some networking events for yourself, because it's a good way to build social proof, get some good testimonials, and close a client quickly. Because it's so much better to meet someone in person as it is to just get a phone call from someone random and then pay them a bunch of money. So
Yeah.
network marketing was definitely not a good way to scale it.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, I was just going on places like Upwork and Fiverr. And I really lasted from January to August just using platforms like Upwork and Fiverr. Because like I said, I was doing web design, and you can implement that into an SMMA agency too. You can implement web design. I actually do that now anyways. And so, and it was actually working very well. I got up to $6,000 net 1 month using Fiverr, but you cannot scale that. You can't scale it. Imagine you have 30 clients on Fiverr. You have to do all the work. It won't work like that. And that was actually, I remember in July, I did 2 all-nighters back to back because I had so much work, and it's good. That's great. You're getting a bunch of work, you're getting money, but you can't scale it, and you're also stressing yourself to death. So it's not a way to really grow your business. So, doing all the fulfillment yourself doesn't work. Getting clients at a very minimal scale, just networking, does not work. The best way to do it is by volume. So, I have a power dialer that I actually use Phone Burner. So just getting the right people on the phone and finding someone to fulfill, because then you're not worried about, getting clients, and you're not worried about fulfilling them. You're just worried about, how many appointments can I set today? So
Right.
It's definitely about volume. That's the way that it does work.
And it's funny that you bring up volume, because anytime someone reaches out to me and be like, hey, Jordan, I'm having trouble getting my first client. I'm having trouble with my cold emails or whatever. I always ask them, well, how many cold emails are you sending out? And, I've sent out like 50 personalized, 100 personalized, or I've sent out 500 personalized. And I'm like, bro, volume, I'm talking like thousands. When we talk about volume, we're talking thousands, because it's really what it comes to. It really comes to a numbers game. You're going to get a whole lot of rejections, but you only really need about, like you said, 3 to 5 clients to have your 10K a month agency. So it's like, I always tell people, hey man, it's all about volume. Whatever you're doing right now, whatever number it is that you're doing right now, multiply that by 10, and then you'll have that number. And then once you get that number, multiply that by 10 again. It's always about volume. Implement different outreach methods after you got one down already. And once you have that one down, and then that's when you can start doing different outreach methods and filling up your calendar even more. But, I think volume is the main driver when you want to get new clients for your agency, because it's really a numbers game. You're going to get a whole lot of no's, but you only need about 1% or even less than 1% of people to say yes, and you have your 6-figure agency. And that's why I think it's not easy to build a 6-figure agency, but it's very simple. You know what I mean? It's like, what you need to do to get your 6-figure agency.
Yeah.
But
just to add on to that really quick, Jordan, one thing that really helped me scale was just mindset in general, because when I started thinking differently is when I really started to scale. And just for anyone watching, do you guys really think that 10 people this month are going to buy marketing services? Of course they are. Obviously, way more than 10 people are going to buy marketing services this month. It's just about you finding them. So that's why you have to do volume when it comes to calls. Like when I was doing cold calling for that 1 week, I did 300 calls a day, 300 calls a day. And I would get like 3 to 5 solid appointments. So if you can set, 3 appointments a day, you're going to close 1 a day. Like you can get to that, but it's about knowing the numbers for your industry and just doing the volume, whether that's through email. Like if you're doing email, by the way, you should be doing at least 10,000 a day. And that's because not that many people buy stuff from a cold email. And that's why volume is so important when it comes to calls and emails.
So, along adding on to more of this volume, because I think this volume topic is so important. I'll tell you a funny story. Before I had my first like digital marketing agent, my first high ticket client. I had 0 clients at the time after my chiropractor cut me off. I was back at 0. I was so excited that I got my first client. And after the first month, I was still a beginner. I didn't get him the best results that he was looking forward to. So I'm back at 0 and I'm stuck here with 0 clients. And my cousin decides to invite me out to go to this. I don't know. Do you follow Grant Cardone?
Yeah.
So I don't follow Grant Cardone. I know who he is and stuff like that, but I don't follow him. My cousin invites me to this. I think it was called like a 10X Growth Con or something like that. It was in Miami, Florida last year in February. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go. Nothing to do anyways. I might as well go and try to learn something new. And the whole time I'm there, the whole trip, like their like theme is just 10x. Like that's all they said. And I didn't understand it at first, but my cousin, every time he saw like other people there, he'd be like, hey, 10x. And everyone would be like, oh, 10x. And I thought it was kind of weird at first, but then that like instilled in my mind. I was like, when I got back, I'm like, all right, I'm just going to 10x everything, especially my outreach methods. And then that's when I started seeing, that's when I started getting more responses. That's when I added like the automated system for LinkedIn, the bots and stuff to go out and do the outreach methods for me. And then that's when I really saw results. That's when I started delegating, bringing like VAs on and stuff like that to handle my work, because I could get so much more out there. Before I was manually like typing messages and stuff like that. It's until I brought on VAs. And then that helped me automate my outreach systems. That helped me increase my volume. And that's when I started seeing more results. So that's about 10x. Now, I want to know so much more of your cold calling, because I'm learning it myself. I want to add it here. What is the difference? So there are a bunch of cold callers out there. People don't like cold calls, or business owners probably don't like cold calls or whatever. What makes a good cold caller different from someone that's not so good at cold calling, besides, being comfortable with rejection, I guess?
Besides that, nothing really, because honestly, I'm not that good at closing. I'm not that good at speaking with people. I feel like there are so many more people out there who can do a better job than me. But what other than that does it take to be a good cold caller? I would say nothing, because if you can just get past the mental barrier of people are going to reject me or get mad at me, if you can just get past that, you can do it. Because like I said, I'm really not that great, and I can even prove it. And I'll even send you some of my cold calls to prove it. But I actually sent it out to somebody in your group who was like, man, I can't get over the cold calls. Like, I don't know what to do. So I sent him one of my cold calls, and it was 2 Saturdays ago. That was the day that I got one to close that day. But it was this guy, and I was like, hey, do you guys do VA referrals? Because I'm actually doing marketing for mortgage people. I'm doing VA loans for them. So I'm trying to get them. And I was like, hey, do you guys do VA referrals? And this guy's like, what do you need? And I was like, nothing, man. I'm just calling around to see if you guys do VA referrals. I actually have some people that we can refer to you guys if you're interested. He's like, I've already heard this pitch 100 times. What do you guys do? Which is very unorthodox. Nobody says that. Either they say no, yes, or go away. Those are the three things. So when this guy's like, look, man, I've already heard this pitch 1 billion times. What do you want? What do you guys have? I was caught so off guard. I didn't even know what to say. I was like, like I didn't know what to say on the phone. So I sent him that just to prove, like, look, it doesn't take a lot. It doesn't take skill. It doesn't take, some kind of one-liner. Like, you just have to do it, because somebody will find you. And the funniest part about that call, the reason why I bring it up, is because the next call I took closed.
Right.
And that's all it takes. Like, if I had quit right there, if I was like, dude, this guy, like, and I actually did feel some type of way. Like, I was like, oh, wow. Like, I was
yeah. Like, I know that feeling.
But if I just quit there at that call, I would have never closed the next guy. The next guy closed. Literally
closed. Wow. So it's really a numbers game. Don't quit on it. And yeah, you just got to keep with it, man. That's crazy, dude. That is awesome. As far as what I was going to say, I was for cold calling here. Had in my mind my question for cold calling. Let me think about it for a second here. Okay, so with cold calling, do you think some niches are better than others? Because there's some people that has reached out to me, and Jordan, what is like that brand new blue ocean niche where I can just get into, and they're open to marketing? Do you think there is, there are certain niches that are good for cold calling? There are certain niches that aren't good for cold calling. What's your take on that?
I'm so glad you used the word blue ocean, because it just made me think about something. I was actually in a course this January. It was for SMMA. And the thing about blue ocean niches, which right now is e-com, everyone is like, oh, I'm closing e-com clients. This is the new blue ocean. Blah, blah, blah. Too. Guys, it doesn't matter. There's going to be a new dentist every single day here in the United States that's going to need marketing. So and I'm going to get back to your question, but this is important. So the blue ocean niches, they don't exist because you could always go to an oversaturated niche, but have a blue ocean offer. So just offer it differently. For example, I was doing mortgages, and I'm going to give you guys the sauce in case any of you want to steal it, but I was doing mortgages and they've all heard the same marketing pitch. Everyone wants to give them marketing, blah, blah, blah. Nobody's heard of referrals. So I was doing just a new offer. I was like, instead of pitching marketing services, instead of pitching lead generation, we're pitching referrals because everyone in real estate loves referrals. No one wants to deal with leads that, they don't even remember filling out the form. They don't want to work with you. They already found someone else. They want to work with people who are interested and ready to close now. So if you can just find an angle for whatever your niche is, you will always have a blue ocean niche. Doesn't matter if you're in dentists, doesn't matter if you're in, chiropractors, all the saturated niches. If you find a new angle, it will always be blue ocean. So regardless of what niche, whatever new niches are blue ocean, all this doesn't matter. Just find a new angle that no one's taking and you'll close them every single time. And then back to the original question. So are there better niches to cold call? I'd say, yeah, I'd say you can get better results with niches that don't have gatekeepers, but doesn't matter. Like I said, if you can find a new angle, you can get in. So for example, we talked about personal injury. So instead of doing like lead gen, we could do like something again, like that was maybe like referral based or whatever, just thinking of new offers, something that they haven't heard of that they would be interested in.
And I think that's a huge gem in this video. If someone's watched it this far, is that just coming in with a different new angle, just a slightly new angle so that you can sound a little different from what everyone else is pitching them. Everyone is pitching these business owners the same exact thing, the same pitch. Hey, lead generation will get you 10 leads this month. Whatever they're hearing, they're probably tired of it. And that's why that one guy you cold call said, I've heard this a billion times. So it's really just coming up with a slight different angle so that it sounds like you're introducing something brand new to them, something that they've never heard, something that if they're not going to hop on this, they're missing out on. So I think that's really powerful that and something that you did for your agency. I think that's super powerful and super helpful. And I think that's yeah, like I said, that's that angle. That's a huge gem. I think that's something a lot of people could be doing for their agency, just going with a slightly different approach. But that is, before I let you go here, I have two final questions for you. My question is, what would your advice be to someone who's just brand new starting out? Obviously, it's not typical that everyone gets their 10K agency, the first month of doing outreach or whatever. What is your tip for those people who are just starting out their digital marketing agency with no experience whatsoever?
My advice for them is it's not for everybody. And I think that's something that I've had to deal with a lot too, because again, I've been doing digital marketing for 6 years, but I only say digital marketing with quotes like that because I've never done it like this. And I've been trying to find the right approach. I've been trying to find the right angle for 6 years, and I finally did it. So if you're not ready to, wake up every day and, get rejected, then you probably shouldn't do it. But if you're someone that is, persistent, someone that is relentless, someone that won't give up, then I recommend that you learn how to sell and that you learn how to network. Because if you can't do one thing, you need to find someone that can. For example, I'm horrible at doing Google ads. And that's why I called Jordan. I was like, Jordan, look, I have a freaking awesome client. I can't do it. I need you. So just really being able to sell and just persist, that's really all it takes. So it's really about mindset, because there's no secret in this. You just have to pick up the phone and start dialing. You have to get in front of people. You have to talk to people, and that's the only way you're going to sell. So that'd be my advice. It's all mental.
One more question, and I'll let you go. How do you plan on scaling from here? I know you got your systems in place. You know what you're doing. Are you just going to keep things consistent, keep doing the same thing you're already doing now? Or do you plan on implementing new things to help you take your agency to the next level?
Yeah, so at the moment right now, I'm still closing. I'm still closing every single appointment that I get and then having someone to fill it. So the next step from here would just be getting enough appointments, like, because it's only been 1 month. I can't even tell what the numbers will be for next month. But if when I can consistently get 3 appointments a day. So first thing is consistency. When I can consistently get 3 appointments a day, then I'm going to hire a closer and just remove myself from the systems and just focus on making each system better. And that's how I want to scale.
That sounds like a solid plan, man. That sounds like a good plan to really get that freedom that that we're all looking for. So Daniel, thank you so much for being a part of this, my first interview. I hope I was a good person to interview you. I hope I did a good job myself. I really appreciate you coming on here. Any plugs that you want to plug your Instagram, your YouTube? You got anything that you want to share to the?
Yeah, I want to share Jordan's course, guys. If you're interested in getting into agency, get his plug and play agency course right now. Jordan, literally, like I said, he helped me get my first client. So big shout out to Jordan. He's helped me a lot through everything. And the second thing I want to plug is just subscribe to my channel. There's a lot of freelancing stuff on there. I plan on putting some more agency stuff like cold calling. And I'm actually editing a video right now that I recorded like 2 weeks ago. I've just been procrastinating because all I've been focusing on is this agency stuff. But if you want to see some stuff on cold calling and how I actually scale mine, then just subscribe to my link in the channel or wherever you want to put it.
All right, guys, you guys heard it. I don't teach any cold calling, but if you guys want to find your go-to cold caller and figure that out, I'm going to put Daniel's link in the description below. So you'll be able to learn how to cold call and build your agency within the first month, just like Daniel did. Thank you so much, Daniel. I appreciate you having here, and I hope to have you back again soon, brother.
Thank you, man. I'll talk to you soon.